Whoa, we're live. How's it going?
Son of a bitch.
I
How are you
really
doing?
wish the behind the scenes were recorded before a stream.
I mean, it's a possibility in the future. Yeah.
We can start doing that.
Excuse
But
me.
hello
Yeah.
everybody.
Of course, my third line had to be a burp.
Yeah, I mean that's just how streams are.
Yeah.
How's it going?
Huh.
How has your week been?
Are you talking to the chat or are you talking to me?
All of you.
Ah, good to know. My week has been uh it's been it's been mercifully uneventful. We still have had a lot of people working on this fucking place because of the same leak, just because it takes contractors a long time to come in, and also insurance a long time to to just make sure everything's in check so as to not bankrupt anybody.
Yeah.
And so yeah, so that's most of what we've been dealing with, just getting everything ready for them. And like yeah, that's kind of been it in terms of new things. Other than I did mention this before the stream. I become a spreadsheet bitch. So for all the the spreadsheet bitches out there, yeah, and it helps me, especially if you need to add a little legitimacy and like the feeling of what you're doing when you don't like. I don't know, if you need a little like boost of confidence for whatever project it is you're putting together. It's like both good for organization and also, oh yes, this is the thing people do when they're organizing things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
that way with like to-do lists, but they never work for me.
Yeah, I couldn't
So,
do it with to-do lists. I will say that
like
right now. And
to-do lists make me
yeah,
feel like I'm a consummate professional, and then they never get touched.
I have so I'll just I guess dive into this part right now. It's not that long. I have two spreadsheets so far. Uh but I one of them started because one of my improv partners and I, Shiseki, we've been doing it the longest together. um we started like sharing each other's workout routines with one another as like an accountability thing. It's real cute. And basically, like, because we both noticed that like texting him is the only is the only way I'd been logging any of my numbers, just because it's the only thing I'd thought of, because it's like back of my mind. um he's like, do you want to write this down somewhere? And so I started a Google Sheet, which I'd never used before, by the way. I'd used Excel very limited before, not Google Sheets, and I liked one of the templates so much that I think this is going to become part of my lifestyle now. But yeah, so I started logging workouts, and the other one is for drawings and future audiobooks and animations, just so I can keep track of everything and it doesn't have to be crammed in my noggin. I think the only reason I did not get into spreadsheets sooner is just because I lured myself into a false sense of security by having a pretty good like automatic mental schedule for events that I'm involved with, especially online, and like and in real life it's like comparable. But yeah, it's like I got a body clock for that shit, and so I'm like, oh, I don't need any of this, and then it makes things easier anyway. Yeah.
Yeah. I That just made me think of how much I want to do time tracking again, but no software feels good enough for me
Sure.
for time tracking. What I need for time tracking to work is an tablet app where I could just have my tablet plugged in 100% of the time on the side of my desk that will show me all of the buttons to change what thing I'm tracking at any given time. And that just, it's not a thing. It's not an easy thing to set up. And it's really annoying.
Oh, another thing about this, related to habit tracking, is like I mentioned to you how I could not do a to-do list. There are parts of this that are dangerously close to a to-do list, like the creative one, which like I lumped the still image tunes, excuse me, the animations and the audiobooks all into like one spreadsheet just with categories to it. And like it has a little like drop down for if like I haven't started, if I'm in progress, or if they're completed, just because that was part of the template and I liked it. I think part of the reason it works so well is because that built-in function is present, but the rest of the spreadsheet is essentially dedicated to, well, I mean, but it's about more than that. Like, because anytime I'm taking off shit on like a to-do list, I'm like, well, I don't want it to just be like a toggle. I feel like there's more I think about this than that, and that's all I'll be able to think about if I'm taking it off. It's like, oh, maybe I want to have notes related to it as to like why it got completed to lesser or more degrees this other time, or and like when it happened. So yeah, I guess like my brain for years had just been teasing and tickling the idea of a spreadsheet. Yeah.
Now you're full on with them. Full frontal spreadsheet.
Full frontal spreadsheets. This is going to become an R-rated show, only because my spreadsheets don't hold anything back. They will not be censored by the man.
Yeah, the numbers in your spreadsheets are just too hot for television.
How many D equal sign 3 am I gonna have in my fucking spreadsheet?
It's just little teasers in between the real numbers, just little pictures of boobs drawn with parentheses and periods.
ASCII titty. It's just like as a little gap between very legitimate and useful information that I could share with the doctor.
You zoom out, the numbers become porn, says Lunar. Absolutely.
Is that some Matrix shit, or do you mean ASCII art?
I mean, that is essentially what ASCII art is just if you zoom out, the numbers become porn.
Well, no.
Also, I want to say in chat, thank you, Lunar, for saying cool new avatar. Yep, second stream with it, and I like it a lot. I need to actually put in the descriptions the artist that did it, because I still haven't done that, but oh well.
Yeah, this is I have understated how fucking amazing your VTuber is, just because I'm like I think I understated it just because I was there for like parts of the journey, and so it's like it wasn't as much of a boom, but like but I really do love this thing you put together with this is like it perfectly encapsulates you.
Yeah, it's very good. There are some things I'd like to change about it eventually, but that'll come. It has jiggle physics. Yeah, it does. Wait, there we go.
I like the light translucency of the glasses. That's always a nice touch.
Yeah,
I know that's like a basic part of it, but it's always nice to me.
But what I think we have to talk about and not, shy away from that happened this last week was the inauguration. Yeah. We can't really ignore it and have a good time. But I mean, I say it in the way that there's explicit sentences that need to be said that no one's just fucking saying. Elon Musk did a Nazi salute at the inauguration, and we 100%. Need to stop pretending that there's any doubt that that's what it is. We just need to say it, and anyone who says otherwise is an idiot or a Nazi.
And I want to, if we're gonna confront that, I want to confront the crock of complete horse shit that is. This is a neurodivergent man who didn't know full well what he was doing. You fucking idiot.
Oh, but he's also a genius.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I'm sorry. Even without the whole, we're not gonna go forever about Elon Musk, I promise. But I just want to say this, like, even if there wasn't the whole mythology of Elon Musk being this hyper genius that came from all his insecurities, like, you just flat out, I don't think you become a billionaire, period, without knowing the difference between doing a Nazi salute and not doing a fucking Nazi salute. I just don't think that happens. I don't think that adds up in our universe, in our timeline, in our world. That just doesn't work. Elon Musk was already fully on my eat my shit list, but yeah, just even more quiet part out loud after quiet part out loud. Frankly,
we can stop calling it the quiet part. It's the loud part. But it's long since been gone for the
Yeah.
quiet part.
I also want to specifically say that this event is only a specific event that I feel strongly about. But it doesn't make me feel discernibly different about the man himself, largely because, don't ever forget this part, it's been, what, over a year or two now that he has knowingly, willfully, and passionately platformed Nazis on like, just completely devout, no sugarcoating it at all, just look at it and it's there, over to the Twitter algorithm, the X algorithm, whatever you want to call it. Fucking, as soon as he bought it, they were given a fucking king of the castle reign, and it's complete shit. And it was around the same time, just to rub salt in the wound, that they're like, "Oh, cis is a slur," and you like you, and
Yeah.
you're gonna get banned for calling people cis. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like anyone who actually has looked at anything Elon Musk has ever said knows he's been a Nazi for a long time.
Yeah.
But like at least now, like I have verifiable like visual. It's visual now. It's not just ideological. He's very visually a Nazi.
Yeah. It is. I want to say it's fascinating in an extremely grotesque way. Not in any way I want to say, but in just it's there, so it's worth analyzing. Again, don't want to do a full breakdown here, but like how God, he did like I know this metaphor doesn't work in a literal context. I know there's everybody here knows that, but you know the frog in boiling water analogy?
Yeah.
He's managed to do that up to the point of a full Nazi salute with so much of the American people. It's deeply, deeply horrible, but also morbidly fascinating.
I can't imagine there's actually a lot of people who genuinely believe when they say he didn't do a Nazi salute. They're saying it to try to obfuscate. They're saying it to try to make outrage lessen. Not because they actually believe it's not a Nazi salute. There's no fucking way.
That's fair.
The cognitive dissonance is strong. I don't think it's actually that strong. I think they just want Nazis and they know people will backlash if they say, yeah, we're actually a Nazi.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my take.
No.
For all the people saying it's a Roman salute, one, there's no, that's just not true. And second of all, this isn't Rome and he's not Roman.
It's also like even on top of that, even if that was like completely true, as a public figure, there's certain things that are proxemic, extremely proxemic to other ideas that you tend to know to avoid in situations like this. Like, it's as simple as that. You avoid Nazi shit or anything that strongly resembles Nazi shit, even if it's not that. Yeah,
like you don't want to be seen in the political stage looking like a Nazi unless you're a Nazi. So,
unless it just so happens.
He's a genius in everything except for looking good.
And everything.
That's essentially their point. That's their point. And so, no caveat. He's a Nazi. Fuck them. Fuck all of them.
Yeah. Anyway, if you muted us for the Elon Musk bit, now you can unmute us. Flash something on the screen for that. Yeah.
I'll wave with my head.
You have arms on this? Okay, I just saw you in the delay to the doing a fucking almost headbang.
We're back.
Ashley's on a roller coaster for this episode.
But yeah, so lots going on. It all fucking sucks. There's a reason the title of this episode is the first steps of a very long walk to the next 4 years, and hopefully along the way, things will get, it'll get worse, but we'll be able to build foundations of something better if for the future. Who knows? I'm not
engage with
very
the community.
Yeah. We'll see how this presidential term goes.
Yeah, because this big shitty part of it has been sealed, but this is not the end of the story, and it won't be. and especially if everybody gets together on a local level, if enough people just go, fuck that, in whatever way you're going to. I'm not going to condone any particular aggressive actions, but just like whatever ways you want to collect in your own space. I don't know how close I can actually get before this becomes like against YouTube TOS. But yeah.
We need to focus on communities. We need to focus our ideology around it. Maybe make a word to show how focused on community we are. Like we have capitalism. Maybe we could have like a communityism.
But like until about 10 seconds ago, I thought somehow you were gonna loop this in with like a cult, with saying the word just cult.
Yeah. No, it's not a cult. It's a lifestyle. Communityism sounds interesting. Yeah, I mean it's a bit of a mouthful. We could probably lop off some of those letters, but
communityism to me sounds like, okay, in proximity to the actual term communism,
communism, that's a good word. I think we should shorten communityism to that. That's a good idea.
In proximity to that, communityism sounds like what super straight is to straight, just in the word structure. It's very weird.
I also like the stream delay of Lunar doing the joke after I love stream delay. It's so fun. I don't think it's that bad game right now, though. Hopefully,
it's not. It's like a couple seconds.
Okay. But yeah, so pitch in, help spread the word about communityism. I hear there's a really nice pamphlet about it somewhere.
Wait, communityism is the is the unaliving equivalent for communism.
I fucking hate unaliving. It annoys me so much.
The only reason I like the practice of people saying unaliving is just because it's getting in a world where folks who proclaim to hate censorship really like censoring people they disagree with. People are getting used to using code words for things because it's like,
I like it as a tool. I hate it as a part of speech.
I think that, like, because I don't think that you're particularly one of these people, but I think a lot of people frame it as just you're too afraid of it. It's you're putting it in too much of a cutesy frame, and it's like, just say the thing. And it's like, I think the majority of the people who say unaliving, if they could just say the word and not get their content suppressed for it, then they probably fucking would. It's not that hard of a word to say. We're not the Goonies here, like,
yeah.
Yeah.
Lunar says, I heard something about a man of Festo that spreads communityist ideas. I would love to meet this man of Festo. Festo, wonderful city. Wonderful city.
Manifesto. We should just read it on here at some point.
It's going to be the next stream. We'll have the manifesto on.
The man himself of Festo. The man herself. The woman herself of Festo. There we go. I eventually got there.
Like phrases like corn farmer and spice merchant for sex workers. Yeah, I've not actually heard specifically those before.
I'm not surprised by it, but I've also never heard that. I like spice merchant.
Yeah,
that's a really good one. Like corn, I've heard just in general parlance corn used as a substitute, but spice is I like that one.
That manifesto I've heard is very dry.
Very dry.
Yeah. But yeah, so
Welcome
look after your people. If any of your people turn out to like Trump, make them not your people anymore. And teach them that there is no place in your life for people like that.
There was a dude that I met recently who was a buddy of mine. Emphasis on was. So you know how like when the election was in its full swing, I, as a sarcastic joke in here, said, "Oh, as a thought bubble experiment, I decided to vote for Trump, like just to see what, just to see what it's like." And
See
of
what it
course, you
feels
said,
like.
right, you would rip my head off. Yeah. So this buddy of mine, I hadn't spoken to many times before, but I think I met them in VR chat. But this guy who fully like he's like, "Oh no, I am a Democrat." Like I, he's like, I'm bi, and like, I support all this stuff. It's just, I thought it'd be a funny bit. He meant it legitimately and actually voted for Trump under that logic. And his one defense was that his state voted for Kamala, and he knew that was going to happen because he lives in a blue state. And I'm like,
you didn't know that was going to happen, though. Like, if you
I'm
look at the
like-
election results, oh my God, you did not know that was going to
And he's-
happen.
it's like, but it worked, dude. Like, come on.
But it
you can't.
didn't, dude. Who's in the White House? Like,
Well, but it worked is like he voted for Trump and it worked is what I was saying. But yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, that was a hard one.
fucking idiots.
Yeah, don't commit too hard to bits. There's a ceiling. Know your limitations. Don't show your limitations.
I have no idea how much YouTube censors comments. I don't know. We'll probably find out after
Yeah.
this one. I feel like
Average of
there's
-2
very
viewers.
low for what y'all have put in chat. I think there's a very low chance it's actually gonna like flag anything. But
Quick,
so
somebody
far,
say fuck.
yeah, they care a lot more. Say that like, never mind.
God, you can't say anything these days on YouTube.
Comedy is dead.
Oh.
God,
Anyway,
free
What'd you think
speech and all that. I'm thinking about, I'm trying not to get us censored. Chat, fuck them.
do you want
But
me to
us.
pivot this? I'll pivot this if you want.
No, I feel like there's maybe not too much more to say on the topic of the inauguration. I mean, obviously, you could go and look at all of the shit Trump was signed day one and how half of it isn't what he said he was going to do, and the other half is illegible anyway, logistically speaking. But yeah, I mean, the big one that is frustrating to me that I think we're going to have a lot of talks about in the coming years, which is going to be very frustrating, is the idea of birthright citizenship, and how important of a core tenet of our country it is. And Trump is trying to get away with it. He signed an executive order to end it, but like that's literally not how that works. You can't do that. But I mean, maybe he can. He's done a lot of things he can't do. So before we thought you couldn't be president and be 35 counts of felony, but here we are.
35,000 years old.
Well, you can easily be a president and be 35,000 years old. We can see that. That was Biden. It was surprising that, like, I don't want to say surprising that Biden lived through his term. I'm just like so surprised he didn't like get sick halfway through for all the stress it was.
And please nobody forget that Trump and Biden are not substantially different in age. Like, I don't remember exactly how close it is, but like they're not far apart, and very like little difference in intelligibility. Yeah. Wait, felons have always been able to run for president. Maybe I'm just not that good at American history.
Felons have always been able to run for president. They can't vote in many places. But my way of saying is like, oh, yeah, I didn't think they could, is basically like, oh, you didn't think somebody would actually elect them with that many felonies. But here we are.
Also, I
mean, back in the day, you just had an affair and you were out of the presidency. So, times
also,
they are changing.
I love how in order to like do the one of the biggest things that conservatives want, or at least one of the biggest things that MAGA conservatives want is of course ending the birthright citizenship thing. I was trying to remember the word birthright citizenship. Which, you Lunar, you mentioned that they'd have to amend the Constitution, which to me is very ironic because, of course, like, anything in terms of updating anything for society, MAGA conservatives love to throw fucking, it's unconstitutional, my freedom of speech is being suppressed, et cetera, by, like, just, suppressing literal hate speech, and things of that nature. And like limiting access to guns when, like, yes, right to bear arms, but like only to a certain extent, hopefully in the modern context. But yeah, so like they'll throw it, it's unconstitutional, it's so much shit until it's convenient for them. I know the hypocrisy isn't exactly new, it's just I wanted to point it out so it doesn't like flow under the fucking rug.
Birthright citizenship is clearly outlined in the Constitution, which is why it'd have to be amended. Yeah, it is the 14th Amendment. Lays it out pretty plain text. There is technically a reading you can try to do, but that's with every kind of law of just, oh, well, there's room for interpretation. But really, if you're an honest person, there is no room for interpretation of the 14th Amendment. And you would just have to repeal it outright.
So wait, can you like give like a basic breakdown of the 14th Amendment?
I mean, I could probably pull it up. It's not a long amendment.
Okay.
14th Amendment.
Yeah, because I had a guess as to what it was, but I want to make sure we get it right on here, because this is a show of factual information.
14th Amendment, Section 1. All persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and of the state wherein they reside. No state shall make or enforce any law which shall abridge the privileges or immunities of citizens of the United States, nor shall any state deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor deny any person within its jurisdiction the equal protection of the laws. So pretty plainly, if you were born in the United States, on United States soil, you are a United States citizen.
Also, America's been fucking bad at that for a long ass time. I mean, I don't know if we were born yet when it started being fucking bad at it. Probably not.
At what? What are we talking
about? Like it I guess the word is enforcing the 14th Amendment, where it's like, treated equally under the law.
Well, yeah, we are trying to still get to equal, but the main point of, like, to make sure everybody is a citizen and has the rights of citizenship. Yeah. And it was particularly, I think it was a reaction to the Civil War, so that, like, you can't deny people being citizens for any whatever reasons you want, like, though they are citizens if they are fucking born here, period.
Yeah, that's some good shit.
And then I think one of the arguments Trump is trying to make is like, oh, well, if they're born of illegal immigrants, it doesn't count. And it's like, that's not what the fuck it says. That is not at all what this amendment says. So yeah, you're gonna have to change the amendment, which, I don't want it to happen. I wouldn't be surprised if he somehow pulled all of the strings to get that to happen.
If you could change any one of the amendments, Ashley, what would it be?
This is a dangerous question, because if I joke about it,
I like, at first I was gonna like say as like a half bit, like one of them, just to like put it in more of a modern context. Then I just thought, you know what, I should probably throw my friend Ashley under the bus.
You know what? Let's look at the 27 amendments. Let's see. Reading through.
Throw it in the Thought Bubble Discord chat. I'm staring right at it. Which, by the way, join the Discord.
Mrs. Ashley.gay. You know, these are way too simplified of a simplified list. Thank you, Google, for this. But, um, you know, all of these are pretty
Wait.
good. You know, I like most
Yeah,
of
yeah.
these. You know,
You like the amendments?
who would have
Yeah.
guessed that the amendments are pretty dope?
Well, I mean, they did come from the American government. You know, I'd be a little surprised if they're dope. Excuse me. God, how many times have you had to hear me burp in your ear, folks? I know Ashley's used to it, but like, some of you folks
You
don't
know
know
what?
it.
We can change the 26th Amendment, which is the minimum voting age is 18. We could put that down a couple years.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah, because I guess you do start becoming politically conscious in like your mid-teens at this point in the modern
Yeah.
education system. Yeah. I mean,
Well,
if
we'll
okay,
see how
like
that keeps up with this presidency. But
all things considered, like
oh yeah, the bit of the bit of the amendment about slavery that is, but specifically the
Yeah.
one that says except for a punishment. How about the 28th Amendment? Yeah, that 28th Amendment's crazy.
What's the 28th Amendment?
You know, you're gonna have to look that one up.
Okay. Yeah, I have a feeling I'm not gonna like this. What is the? But what was I saying? Okay,
You're
I'm
gonna
just
look
gonna
it up
look
just to find out that there isn't one.
up. Can you get the brake fluid? Not brake fluid. What's the headlight?
Can you get the 28th Amendment? No, it's funny
Yeah,
because a couple weeks ago Biden like announced, I guess a bit prematurely, that a new amendment did go through. And I mean it's a cool amendment, but it's not actually an amendment yet.
Like what is it though?
I want to say it's equality between the sexes under the law.
Oh yeah.
The
yeah.
Equal Rights Amendment. Yeah, it's not currently part of the Constitution yet though.
I want to say that in terms of lowering the voting age, I've gotten a little skeptical, but then like if you're young enough to be like radicalized and riled up by by political commentators, like as you're looking into the media landscape of the real world, like because like being marketed to by by any kind of political commentator, conservative or liberal or anybody inside, outside, or in between of that, starts about when you're like, I don't know, 14, 15, depending on who you are, maybe 16, 17, and so yeah, I was skeptical of earlier voting until then, when like I'm not gonna say that you should like only consume that and then go out to vote, but you're exposed to it via at least those venues, if not your parents as well, and your community, far before 18. And still, yeah, voting
Yeah.
should definitely be younger.
Feel like I put a video from a lawyer explaining it if you're interested. Okay, thank you, Leonard. But for me, it's like once you get to the point where they're starting to teach you political shit in classes, like you maybe like have political science classes, and then like the year you complete those is like, okay, yeah, now you can go out and vote.
Yeah, I just don't know how widespread that actually is.
Well, we should
Like,
just
the-
make it in every school. That's my
We should.
statement.
I just don't know if we do. Yeah, I
Yeah.
completely agree that we should, though.
I mean, if they're going to put
I
the
mean-
Constitution in the fucking schools, or not the Constitution, the commandments in schools for absolutely no fucking reason, we need to have political science classes way earlier than we do.
Okay, I have a better question than before. I think this one's actually more fun and less opens us up to what the fuck. Instead of what amendment would you change, what amendments would you add?
Term limits for Congress, easy.
Yes,
Easy.
yes.
Term limits for Congress.
I would say basic. So in the education system, at the appropriate age, um, yeah, things like education about politics and uh about sex and about, because like I mean, sex education is at an all-time fucking low in the States. um God, what else is like general literacy? Like I feel like no underpaying teachers. There we go. That's a good one to slot in there. Yeah.
We should be able to put in a referendum at any time that to a popular vote. Actually, maybe just change how voting works. Get rid of the fucking electoral college. I don't know. It's like I want to get.
I'm just gonna fucking
I
say.
want to do like education things, awesome amendments, but we need to change like the fundamentals of how shit is functioning first. Okay, listen, I almost wish I hadn't voted when I was 18. Definitely didn't know enough about the world and was very much just not aware of the ramifications of things. Absolutely. That is why, like, if the age for voting lowers, we need to have a higher standard of political education.
Exactly.
Yeah, you went to a private religious school. Yeah, not great, but
yeah. No, that is a great point, though. God, I'm trying to think, because like I think a lot of the problems, I think a lot of the problems that any country as big as the States faces, like, kind of start with how good the education system is. Because it's like if you can properly hone your critical thinking and learn the right shit, you know, in terms of more specific topics, you know, when you're in school, it better prepares you for knowing how to handle things later on in life. Liz says, I've pretty obviously changed my views completely on many things, but we definitely need better education here. Absolutely. Yeah. It's part of why I've been so education focused on that, like adding amendments front. Just complete education reform in whatever way you need to translate that. And Canada,
my hope
not much different.
Like,
yeah.
My hope was like, term limits of Congress and things of that nature is like, by virtue of getting different people in there, we will then achieve all of these other things as well, like education reform. But because we need to get to fucking what? Let me just look up the term or the terms of Congress,
because the current cap is like 172 or something.
What if I just search term limits of Congress and it's giving me the 28th Amendment again? Or not term, but like term length of Senate, whatever.
We will limit terms when we're good and fucking dead.
Yeah, so the Senate terms are 6 years long. I would say you can get 3 terms as a senator. A little bit longer than president, but...
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and
also agree with Lunar that Congress being paid
about
minimum wage. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. There's just like, firstly, everybody should be given, like, as a whole, the American people, every single people on the planet should get a minimum wage that is enough to live comfortably, and it should be mega super duper illegal. Like, it should be a federal law to not be able to underpay people. Basically, not enforce that you would need more than one job to live comfortably. You know, don't gotta be getting fancy shit, but like, you should be able to live comfortably if you are in any way serving the country that you're in, whether you're, whether you're a teacher, whether you're a doctor, sanitation worker, whether you're a fast food, whether you're a fast food cashier or anything, but I want to say, and while that absolutely should happen, even if that wasn't going to happen, for teachers, for people in the government, Congress, and God, I just want teachers to have a good wage. Is that so hard to ask? I know I'm so focused on the part of it. But like, I think it would seal up so many fucking holes if teachers just got to be fucking comfortable for once. If they got to have a goddamn breath, you know,
Yeah.
enjoy what they do and help students engage better, you know, and be better set up to, you know, spread curriculum. Like, it's just, if the curriculum works well and the teachers are having a good time with it, which would mean they're in a comfortable job, you know, then the kids would be much better educated and we'd have a better American population. You know?
We need a universal basic income. Maybe that's the amendment I would really want to put through. It's having universal basic income.
Yes.
I feel like just letting people live a comfortable life would probably radicalize them way more. Be like, hey, we're not giving shit up. Now that we're all comfortable. We're all living nice.
Yeah. Just everybody should be able to be comfortable. You know? Like, I'm not... yeah. I think we have completely put like a false framing around what it means to serve your country, what it means to what it means to be like a worthy citizen of your it's fucking, it's as simple as that. I think the idea that you are only as worthy of a comfortable, happy life as how useful you are to the world around you is, like, in terms of conventional ideas for it, I think it's ruined a lot of shit. Just because everybody's useful in some way, and everybody's getting fucking undermined no matter who they are, unless you're a fucking billionaire.
Yeah, I mean, that's what happens with the capitalism hellscape we're living in.
28th Amendment, communism, now.
Seeing the daily life of people in China on Redbook has radicalized me even more. Like, people there just seem generally happier and not exhausted all the time, and the groceries they can get, yep. Worth of comfort and citizenship should not be tied to productivity and conventional usefulness. Absolutely.
Thank you, Liz, for putting it much more concisely than I did. That's a good show. Let's stamp that on the forehead of the thought bubble.
Everybody deserves to live with dignity.
And respect. Yeah.
That's my basic, like, if it wouldn't be literally impossible, I would love to run for some kind of office, but like, there's no way I'm getting fucking that ain't happening. Not in Trump's America.
The first queer trans president, Ashley? Would you like
That'd be awesome. Yeah. It'd be crazy to go from Trump to that. Not that I'd be old enough to run by that point, but
I honestly, that kind of trajectory makes sense, because Trump's administration is such an extreme scenario. I'm like, it kind of makes sense for it to just swing the other direction soon after, especially because people are sooner or later gonna get fucking sick of it. Even the people
also not corrupt enough to run. I feel like, look, I'd be going at the local level. I want to be going for the president. I couldn't do the presidency.
President Ashley. Thought bubble, what if Ashley president?
Oh my god. There was some person that came into the Walmart. We were doing a wellness day event for the pharmacy, and this lady came up and was talking. She came up to us knowing exactly why the question she was about to ask. She knew the answer, but she was just like, oh, why is the flag at half-mast? And we were like, Jimmy Carter died. And it's like, obviously you fucking know Jimmy Carter died, and we're keeping the flag down for a very long time because of that. And she was just like, he wasn't good anyway. I remember it. And it's like, okay, grandma, shut the fuck up.
You. Jesus.
You're the one person in this fucking world that, like, even if you disagree with him politically, he was a cool fucking dude.
Like, was he a Democrat or a Republican? I don't know.
I believe he was Democrat. I could be wrong. I mean, it was well
really
before my time. So, like,
it feels
all
really
of the
weird
lines
that he
are different.
would have been... With a lot of the fucking shit he's done since his presidency, it'd be very weird to find out he was a Republican.
Yeah. I mean, he was the one right before Reagan. So, Yeah, he would have been running against Reagan, so definitely he's a Democrat.
Okay, yeah.
But it's like
Rather
it's
rest in-
insane that some people are just so fucking mad that when like a decent, not necessarily a good person, I mean he was a president after all, but like a decent person died. And he was like, he wasn't that good. Fucking not any amount of time after that death. Where is the respect for the dead that y'all preach so much? Anyway, just pissed me off. I mean, she's also obviously very Trump focused. She was going off about how like, oh, I'm so glad the inauguration's soon, gonna fix everything. And it's like, you're gonna pay more for your meds. I wish I could just tell them all that. Like,
You practice by giving Ashley $100 tip for your medication.
literally. That just remind my favorite joke to tell people when their insurance covers a medication fully. So I'm just like, oh yeah, it's $0, and they were already getting money out. They're just like, oh okay. And I was like, well, no, you can give me money if you want. I'll take it.
So can you accept tips as like a pharmacy technician?
No, I can't accept tips anywhere in a Walmart.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, they don't allow that.
Right. No, because the thing was because I was like, it's been a while since I've been at a Walmart. Other places are more convenient around here. But I the thing that I remembered as a fucking tip jar, that was a charity thing. That
Yep.
was, which is technically a tip, just to very different people. Yeah.
Yeah, if you want to tip somebody that works at the Walmart, which I've had many people
do
want to when I did online
Yeah.
grocery.
Yeah.
And I'm always very thankful, but like we can't do it, we will get fired. Like just don't do it.
Is it automatic? Like, oh, you took it like one tip, you get fired.
Essentially, yeah, they view it as like if they are forcing money in your hand, it then belongs to whatever charity Walmart is like partnering with at the time, and it is considered stealing.
Can you take the money with them thinking that you received it, just so that like they don't, but then you put it in the charity thing instead? Like,
Well, that is what you're supposed to do. I always tell people if they're like, oh, I want to tip you for helping me with the groceries here. I was like, look, I'm not going to get it if you give it to me. And usually, to be honest with you, I don't know how much Walmart's going to like this if they find out I say this. They don't actually end up giving the money half the time. It just sits in a jar for about 12 months.
oh shit.
It just, unless you have like a very responsible Walmart staff, which is 0 of them, that money isn't making it because it's just not an enough amount of money for them to care about actually going through the paperwork with giving it over to the charity. So it just sits there. It is technically the charities, but they're not actually doing anything with it.
You know, you should just hand deliver it at that point. You should just
I'm
go
just
over.
like, you keep it and spend it on whatever you want, but literally if I take it back in there, it's going to sit in a plastic container for months.
But-
The only tips we were able to receive, and I'm not going to say this as a blanket statement for all Walmarts, this was my old store back in Georgia. They let it, if somebody brought us food, we were able to take the food.
they hand you like a chicken sandwich or something, and like you.
There's
bite
one
into it
person
later
who
on.
bought us pizzas. They were fucking awesome.
You get a pizza, and then under each and every slice is a $50 bill.
Damn.
That's a very expensive pizza, but
Yeah,
it's
now
like,
it's all gross and greasy money.
Well, I mean, which one would be grosser, Canadian bills or American bills? Grease.
Well,
'Cause you
like
guys
yours
got,
is
the-
like laminated, right? Like you could wash your
Yeah.
money. We can't
Yeah.
like just wash our money.
Would yours just like fall apart?
It doesn't fall apart. It'd just be greasy.
Oh, okay.
Maybe
Does it absorb
if
it?
you want
Oh,
to tip me,
God.
please donate to blank charity for me. But that's yeah, that's asking too much. I'm not going to ask people to do that. I'm just going to be like, hey, keep the money. It's better spent on you than sitting in a container.
Just commit charity fraud and just like start a charity that like you then to, and then, yeah.
Done it by
We can
accident,
wash
but
our
like
money.
you're not getting it back to normal. Like,
I earn your money. Don't do that.
I do earn my money.
Is that how any region pronounces it?
Earn my money. Yeah, I earn my money. I earn my money.
Oh, I get you. I thought it was I thought it like because I thought this was like an analogous to like, oh, I'm going to the toilet, like, but it's I earn my money.
I earn my money.
I earn my money.
I earn my paycheck.
I earn your money.
It will happily accept any money. Well, if I come across money that has to go to a charity, I will let you know.
If there's any way that I could deface money, what I would want to try is I'd want to take like a quarter and a penny and see if I could embed that penny smack dab in the center in the face of it and make it look as close to a toonie as possible. It would never be able to be traded like that for at least at bare minimum one of the reasons being it'd be noticeably smaller than a toonie still. Like there's no way it would fly in any way, shape, or form. I just want to see if it could kind of cosplay as a toonie.
My southern isms. Okay, I want to talk about this. So you and I have done a number of like southern versus northern saying like websites.
Sure.
And the one that apparently hit Liz like a truck when I was doing that with her was in the South, you're not getting ready to do something, you're fixing to do something. And apparently that is just too southern for Liz.
What I've been surprised by, and I don't know if I said this last time we talked about it, but I think finna spread a lot further than fixin'.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I've heard finna, but I have not. I like you just don't. I don't hear fixin' to like I'm fixing to do this organically anywhere here. And for those who lose track of the future, I'm Canadian. If I can't say that enough times, but yeah.
You just,
So it's like
just
we
shove it
already
in
have
our
our own-
face.
Yeah, we need our Canadian pride parades. You understand? But
Yeah, just doused in maple syrup.
It's funny that I say that when like one of the times that this is a short story. One of the times that I went to a pride parade and I told you about this. Shockingly, there was only like 2 homophobes that I came across on the way there. And one of them was very like it was clear what she was saying. It's just she was as close to polite as possible about it, like vague and shit. But I was crossing the street and there were a bunch of pride flags overhead. And she said, "Not a lot of Canadian flags, huh?" And so it's like in this context of needing a Canadian pride parade, that was a little funny.
What
yeah.
what I want to say to people who say that is just like, well, where's yours? Where's your flag? Where is it? Because usually they don't have it. They just want to complain.
Yeah. I have it in my wallet next to my picture of my kids.
It's actually on top of the picture of them. I love the flag so much. I have to move it out of the way to get to my family.
Yeah, it's like a little bullpup panel. Oh my god, a little pop-up book wallet. Like wallet pictures. That'd be so cute. I love that.
No, you need your Canadian pride parades. You should like make a community around it. You can be like proud boys for Canada.
You can I don't even know that we should be saying. I knew you were going somewhere. I don't even think we should be saying those words in sequence. I'll always remember the time that I almost not understanding what everybody meant. Because anytime we have new audience members, I like telling this story. So back when like the Proud Boys were like a newer thing, or at least more like the first time that I ever saw them like being put out on the news. So like a lot of people, for very good reason, were a lot of people on social media especially were trying to cover up the name Proud Boys by adding like, like proud love of like gay people, gay men, like on timelines, hashtags and shit back when Twitter was worth a damn. And I got very close on a call with a friend, I think, to tweeting that like, oh yeah, I love Proud Boy.
Oh no.
Just because I thought it was just about proud gay men. I thought it was about proud boys loving boys. But I got like inches away from hitting that tweet button.
Oh my god.
That was a day in history.
I would have loved to have a screenshot of that tweet in perpetuity.
Well, it never went out. I was just got very.
I
Which
know,
makes the
but
story
I
less
would
interesting.
have
should lied
I would
about
have loved it.
it. You can
That's
just
my-
Photoshop a tweet of mine.
You're right, I can.
You know, that is your American right.
That is
Under
my
the
God-given
Constitution.
right to be able to Photoshop you saying horribly racist things on Twitter.com.
God, I a lot of people forget the Proud Boys come from Canada, like because I think they come specifically from Toronto, which is the city I'm near. Yeah, it's some hard shit. It's not good.
Yeah, fuck them.
Yeah, fuck the Proud Boys. Fuck homophobes and racist bigots of all kinds. We accept we accept saying
Boys, but fuck proud men.
it took me a second to realize you had two different kinds of fuck there. Yeah.
Yeah. English is an amazing language.
Yeah, Lunar, I founded the Proud Boys just so we could on the
I
thought
love that
bubble.
you
was
cut
the whole
out, so
purpose.
I'm going to be able to clip that real easy. Oh, that's good. That's great.
God, God, fucking
It literally, it cut out. You're just like, yeah, I founded the Proud Boys. Then that was it.
just so we could virtue signal on the thought bubble. That's it. That's all. That's the whole reason I did it. It got really out of hand. Bit where like all of them would vote for Trump just as a joke, you know.
Yeah, and then it started to become statewide.
We started a whole phenomenon. It was a meme. It was an internet meme. Guys, to prank, bro.
Really, the Trump presidency is just one big meme. It's just gotten out of hand.
Every time I talk to, and by the way, it kind of is. But every time I talk about memes, like in a conversation, I feel like I sound like somebody's dad. I'm only 25, folks.
No, did I tell you I felt really old the other day because one of the pharmacists mentioned the missing Malaysian flight? You remember that?
Please repeat it.
So the missing Malaysia Airlines flight. You remember that huge news story?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they mentioned it, and I had to learn that it is not only 10 years ago, it's now 11 years ago that happened, and it feels like it couldn't possibly be that long ago, and I feel so old.
To me, that feels like it happened like 20 years ago somehow. Like there's other things that then feel like they were more recent.
Like other
I
things
feel like-
happened more recently, but it feels like it would be like 6 or 7 years ago, not 11.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, yes,
Trump-
Liz, I did feel old. I am growing, and it sucks. That's why I have to make fun of you all of the time. It's
Next
actually
year,
a coping mechanism.
Next year, Trump will have been an elected president for 10 years, not straight, but and he's clearly not. But yeah, he'll have been going 10 years on this bullshit ride. 10 years since Harambe, since that.
10 years
Excuse me.
since Harambe.
Last
Harambe
year was
feels like it
20
was
years.
actually much longer ago than just that.
How do
Harambe
you
feels
feel
like
about-
that shit happened in middle school.
How do you feel about well, I think it was mostly middle schoolers joking, but that might be why. But how much you want to Like, how do you feel about The Incredibles came out 21 years ago?
That makes sense. Incredibles was a
That movie
childhood
can
movie.
drink.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't know, 21 isn't
That's
old.
it.
I mean, 25 isn't old either.
Yeah.
You know, once you hit 30, like some people I know, that's when you're old.
Yeah, that's when you crumble into dust.
Like most
Yeah.
of the people I end up dating, apparently.
God, this flies in the face of Tick Tick Boom. I love that movie. Just because that whole thing's about how, like, no, you're not aging out of everything when you turn 30. You're gonna be fine.
Yeah, I mean, you know, 30-year-olds, they still have some kick in them left.
Yeah.
I
love
say that with my
like,
fucked up back and groaning every time I have to get on the floor.
if I one of the most dangerous bets I could make right now is if I bet all of if I bet everything I own on my knees not cracking when I squat right now. Not cracking like a knuckle, cracking the bone, folks. I got dusty bones.
Your bones just giving out and breaking in half from a squat.
Every single time. This is how Canadian healthcare works. They weaken your bones so that they can work on them.
God, everyone here is old except for me. It's crazy.
I'm just, I already feel like I feel like it's been a good like 3 years since I have had like geriatric Jewish uncle vibes. I I think I'm quite nuzzled into that, and then I'm gonna look back on this and go, you fucking idiot.
And it's an astounding amount of the time that when I get into a relationship with somebody, like, one, they're older, and two, it has been labeled as them cradle robbing many times.
God,
it's so funny.
I don't know why it feels extra disturbing to me when, like, in a relationship, like, one person's just, like, a little bit younger than the other. Like, maybe it's, I don't know, a year difference, and, like, they keep saying that the older one's a cradle robber. I know it's, like, clearly a bit. It's just, like, I don't know, for some reason, when it's so close, it feels weird to me. I don't know why.
I like the meme of it. I mean, all the times it's been used for me, never been that close of years. But
Who is are you comfortable saying like your like the widest age gap you've had in a relationship?
I think it was 10 years. It was either 9 or 10.
I'm trying to think. I think mine was 2. But I think like in the
we
past,
lived very different lives.
I think in the past I have been like, well, because I've said I'm open to like a wider one as long as I'm the younger. I feel like with everything in the news, I feel like I wouldn't be able to stop thinking about how weird it feels if I was a I'm gonna say substantial just to put it easier, but if I was the substantially older person in the relationship, like for instance, like I couldn't see me right now dating like I don't think this is a huge age gap, but I can't see me right now dating a 21-year-old, and I don't think if I was like 35, I would date someone my age. But that's just me.
Yeah, I don't think there's any 21-year-old that would, like, just by virtue of them not having grown up as much.
Yeah.
There's no way I would be able to do that, but yeah.
Yeah. I've seen it happen and be fine. It's just like I don't think I could sit right with that.
Anyway,
Anyway,
that's been the show.
there are at least 2 topics that I'm like waiting with bated breath for in our list that I'm like I'm waiting for the right time. And so are we doing it
well,
this
that's
week,
gonna
or are we
happen
doing
next time then.
This coming next time. You getting tired?
Yeah. Well, it's been an
Okay.
hour. We've hit
Oh, yeah,
our
I guess so.
yeah.
Yeah.
And for like it to feel natural to go to another like entirely different concept for the show, we'd have to go for much longer. It would feel weird
That's
to
fair.
capstone on such a different topic.
That's fair. Yeah. Anyway. But yeah, so best wishes, folks. And
Mrs. Ashley
Mrs.
dot
Ashley.
gay.
Yeah. And improvvr.co.uk. That's improv then an r.co.uk. And yeah, have a lovely time.